Hi, Coach Jeff here, and tonight I want to talk about through balls for a couple reasons. One, I think it's good to review, but ever since the last Sunrise game, I was troubled by the fact that we just couldn't execute our through balls very well. And we'd even reviewed them in the practice the Thursday before. And we talked about how critical it was that we'd be able to execute those through balls to be successful in that game. But before we get into through balls, let's talk about our 5 W's. What are we trying to do with through balls? We're trying to score goals. Where are we using through balls? We're attacking in the attacking third. Who are we talking about? For tonight's purposes, we'll talk about the 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. When do we use through balls? When the opponent's back line has at least 15 yards of space behind it and the 9 is in the opponent's back line. And why are we using through balls? We're trying to pass or dribble forward. We're trying to create 2v1s and 1v1s. And then also we're trying to vary the types of runs. Before we get into the charts, let's define what a through ball is. A through ball is a pass sent between 2 back defenders or through a gap into open space behind the defenders and out of reach of the goalkeeper. So you can see in this case right here, it's between the 2 defenders in a gap but out of reach of the goalkeeper and behind the defensive line. But there's some things I want to review about through balls before we get into the chart. Number 1, don't pass to feet. You pass to space. And you can see in my example here, we've passed into space and the 9 is going to run on and meet the ball. And probably one of the best through ball quotes of all time didn't come from a soccer player. It came from probably one of the greatest ice hockey players of all time, Wayne Gretzky. And what he said was, I skate to where the puck is going to be, not where the puck is at. So number 1, don't pass the feet, pass into space. Number 2, to be successful with a through ball, the defenders need to be high and there needs to be at least 15 yards of space behind the defender's back line, but to a place where you think the goalkeeper can reasonably get the ball. If you don't have that space, it's going to be too compressed and a through ball is just simply not going to work. Number 3 is kind of related to number 2. When you send a through ball through the back line, it needs to be far enough away from the back line so they can't reasonably get it, but also far enough away from the goalkeeper that they can't get it as well. Number 4, when first serving through balls, it's probably good to take some weight off that service, because the common mistake is that too much weight is put on that service or pass and the goalkeeper can easily pick it up. Number 5, this is one of the most important concepts and something new. Vertical pass, diagonal run. Diagonal pass, vertical run. But before I go through those, let me tell you why a vertical pass, vertical run doesn't work very well. If we have a teammate here and our 9 here, and we make a vertical pass, vertical run, 2 things can go wrong. Number 1, usually that's very easy for the goalkeeper to pick up. Number 2, the goalkeeper, when they get 1v1, they have to worry about 2 things. They have to worry about player and ball. If the player and the ball are in the same channel, it doesn't give them a lot to worry about. Now let me tell you why diagonal pass, diagonal run doesn't work well. If the 9 has to make a diagonal run to a diagonal pass, whenever they meet, that 9 is going to have to turn toward goal. And that time that you waste there usually costs you a chance to score. So diagonal pass, diagonal run usually doesn't work very well as well. In this case right here, you can see I've got a diagonal pass. It came from this teammate here, and then this 9 is going to make a vertical run and run on. That is usually successful. That's a diagonal pass, vertical run. But the opposite always works as well. Vertical pass, diagonal run. Okay, all right, so let's get into the chart here. Okay, first of all, we have our red opponent. You can see the goalkeeper. You can see there are 4 defenders here. And then also in a 4-1-3-2, I said we were going to use the 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. You can see them here. So it's much like in a 4-1-3-2, that 3-2 of ours, with the 7, 8, 11 as the 3 midfielders, the 10 and the 9 as 2 forwards. And I've got a dashed blue box here. That's where we're trying to get the ball. We're trying to have one of our players meet the ball in that box. Because if it doesn't get in that box, it gets out too wide. Now our forwards are having to go find the ball. And when a forward has to go find the ball, you're not usually very successful. So what can happen here? A lot of times we can get the ball to our 9, but they're on an island. Usually have an opponent on their back. So that 9 has to drop the ball. In this case right here, the 9 could drop the ball, the 8 could swing to the 10 could make that diagonal pass for a vertical run of the 9. Another thing that could happen after the 9 drops to the 8 could swing to the 7 could carry. Once again, the 7 could make that diagonal pass for that vertical run. Now, a couple other things could happen too. You know, the 9 could get the ball, the 10 could make a run, you could have a diagonal pass with a vertical run off the 10. Another thing that could happen, when you drop to the 8, they could carry to the left over here, also make that diagonal pass for a vertical run. So that's what we're trying to accomplish here. Again, we're trying to create that vertical pass diagonal run or diagonal pass vertical run. We're also trying to get into this box right here. So I hope you've learned something tonight, and let's just review very quickly. To be successful at through ball, number 1, don't pass to feet, pass to space. Number 2, to be successful, you have to have the defender's back line or the opponent's back line kind of high, and there has to be at least 15-yard space between that back line and a place where you think the goalkeeper can reasonably get it. Number 3, kind of related to number 2, when that ball is served, it needs to be far enough away from the back line that they can't track back and get it, but also far enough away that the goalkeeper can't pick it up as well. Number 4, when first serving through balls, you might want to take a little weight off the pass. A common mistake early when making service on through balls is putting too much weight on it, and the goalkeeper can easily pick it up. Number 5, vertical pass, diagonal run, diagonal pass, vertical run. Very important. And then the last thing that I didn't point out before, but now I hope it becomes obvious, is the most successful through balls have the 9 and the ball going through different gaps. Because remember, if the 9 and the ball go through it's the same gap, you're back into that vertical pass, vertical run, which is usually not successful. So I hope you learned something tonight, and I hope to see you soon. Thank you.